Here it is, the 4070. I know you guys aren't like freaking out about it, but I'm excited. I grabbed one. I got a Founders. I got it for a good price. So I have 15 days to see if I want to keep it or not. So I'm going to put it through some paces. We're going to do mining first because that's the real question. And I'm going to do some other content about it. So in this video, I'm going to mine Nexa, Kaspa, Radiant. We're going to just go one at a time. I'm going to let them run for about 30-45 minutes a coin. And we're going to see where we're at to see if it's worth keeping. Because if I keep this, I will be selling a 3080 to replace it. So, yeah, I mean, it's basically, this is just going to be an experiment. I kind of think it's worth selling all my 3080s and replacing them with 4070s. But I need to do some testing because I know the bus is a little smaller. And, you know, it's not quite a 3080. And it doesn't beat a 3080 in all things, at least gaming. So let's see how they do mining. And that will be what I'm comparing it directly to. The big thing is power efficiency. Supposedly it has a power efficiency for 3060. If that's true, it might be a no-brainer for me to replace them all. Especially if I can do it at close to a 1-to-1 ratio. Now that everything's set up, let me explain how this testing video is going to go. So I've got my 4070 here. And then I've got my typical test bench that I test algos, new miners, everything here. It's got from left to right a 4070 Ti, 3090, 3080, 3070, and a really dirty 3060 Ti. Long story on that one. So the plan will be to show you the watts at the wall for the 4070, along with the software watts for the 4070, just to give you an idea of what it really can do, along with just the results of these GPUs. I mean, you've seen these tested to death. I've even done the power testing video on the 4070 Ti. And I can do another one again comparing the 4070 if people will like. But I'm not going to bother for the 3080, 3090, 3070, and 3060 Ti because they're out there. You can see them. There's nothing new there. I just want to give you guys a comparison because the goal is to see if the 4070 is worth owning for mining, and then if it is, what parameters is it worth buying. So let's start off with Kaspa. Alright, so you can see here, I am mining Kaspa. I'm getting about 882 mega hash at about 102 watts at the wall, at the software, I'm sorry. And about 135 watts at the wall. So we've got about a 30% difference, give or take, between the software wattage and the wall. And then as you can see up here, you can see the different hash rates in the power for all of these GPUs on Kaspa. Now I do want to say that some of these models are more, less power efficient, like my 3080 and a little bit of the 3060, I'm sorry, of the 3070 because they're FTW for the wins, while the 3090 is a Founders and the 3070 Ti is a lower end MSI. I'm sorry, the 4070 Ti is a lower end MSI Ventress. Because for me, all that matters is the cost as far as the models. I really personally don't care about the OCs or anything. It's just the bottom line. I just get the cheapest one I can. Alright, now let's get to Nexa. And another thing I want to state is, as far as Radiant, you can expect basically the same results from Radiant to Kaspa. So the differences between the 4070 and the other GPUs on the bench, you will notice basically the same for Radiant because it's very, very, very similar to Kaspa. Alright, so now we're moving on to Nexa. We've got a 118 mega hash at about 162 watts of the software. About 207 watts at the wall. That's quite a big increase. It's like, you know, maybe about 30%, give or take. Now, if you look at these results here, I'm assuming from what I've seen with the 4070 Ti, all the wall results are probably going to be similar. The interesting thing to note is that at about, it shows about close to 200 watts in the software. The 3080 only gets 106 mega hash. So that's an improvement with the 4070 Ti. You know, as you can see, all the results I've just put up here. It's very interesting. So we've tested Kaspa, we've tested Nexa. Those are two really big coins, and Kaspa results basically equal Radiant results. I won't be testing any Kapow because I don't like mining Kapow. It's a very hard thing to mine as a GPU miner. It's not one of those things you can easily just switch algos, which I think if you're selling at the clip that I am, you know, as in you have to sell a little bit every month, sometimes profit switching is good, and it's also sometimes not bad. Not necessarily chasing profits, but chasing yields. You know, as hash leaves somewhere else, you can move your hash there. Like, if everybody moves to the next big coin, you can go to an older coin and grab better yield. So, you know, I definitely believe in chasing yield over necessarily chasing profits if you are holding for the long term. So that's all I wanted to test. I felt like Nexa, Radiant, and Kaspa is a good barometer of where you want to be. As far as ETH hash, you know, you get the results from Zill. They all do, you know, somewhere between 60 and 100. The 40 series is actually kind of lacking in ETH hash. You know, they definitely don't hash as much as a 3080 or a 3090, which is just due to their architecture. So, yeah, what would I do now? Now, here's the part, the interesting part. What would I recommend? To be honest with you, if you can get a 4080, or I'm sorry, a 4070 for MSRP or less, and it was either buying a 4070 or, say, a 3080, I think I would buy a 4070, actually. It's slightly more efficient in everything but ETH hash. Now, you know, if you believe an ETH hash coin like Octaspace or Zill or ETHWork or ETC is going to moon, and you want to mine GPU mineable coin ETH hash coins, you know, I would recommend the 3080. But as far as everything else, the 3070 definitely has an advantage. It's very interesting because, you know, the 3070 Ti is such a good miner, and people were initially down on the 3070. But I don't know. I mean, if you're going to buy one of either the 3070 or the 3070 Ti for mining, I think, again, if you can get it for MSRP or less, I would probably go with the 3070 Ti. But if you were a miner and you want to do something like, say, sell your 3080s, because they're holding value on the used market, because they actually game quite well, if not better, than the 4070. So if that's your case, I would maybe recommend selling a 3080, then buying a 4070, and then vice versa, because you can easily get 4070s for MSRP. I would not buy them for a dime over MSRP. Again, that is my opinion. And also, they do use less watts than the 3080s, and efficiency is important, especially in this day and age. So for that alone, I would argue that it is probably worth upgrading from a 3080 to a 4070 as far as GPU mining goes. And like I said, the 4070 is not a slouch when it comes to GPU mining. For me, it's basically, if I could do a 1-to-1 swap of 4070s to 3080s versus a 1.5-to-1 swap for 3080s to 4070 Ti's, I have to do some numbers, but I am leaning towards the 1-to-1 swap. Now, I will do this in a later video. I just wanted to give you some early 4090 or 4070 comparisons. And again, I think it's a lot better than people are giving it credit for. You know, as you can see here, this is the Nexa hash rate. That is not bad at all, especially when you take into account that it is, you know, probably 40 to 50 watts less than the 3080 for more hash rate. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. This is not the end of the 4070 content. I'll be doing a lot of it this week, probably. And I was originally unsure if I was going to keep this 4070 or not, and I am for sure going to keep it. It will be going on this test bench right here, and I'm excited to get it up. Alright, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will have more crypto mining content. I'm going to probably be filming in more of a vlog style lately, as my time is a little tight, and I kind of like these videos a little better. So, again, thank you for watching. Crewman out.